Good morning, boss.
Good morning. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Carl.
Yes, and you are watching Happy's Lawn Care and Landscaping.
And it's going to be a little warm today.
A little?
90, probably 95 with the heat index, but that's not as bad as some of you guys. I think I seen, who was it that said that they were Mulch? 100 and something degrees. They haven't had rain in a month.
Oh man, what, in Arkansas,
yeah,
right?
The grass is drying up. So if you guys go check out Mulch, right?
I don't know if he does anything on YouTube. I think that he posts a lot on Instagram
and stuff like that.
Yeah. But oh my goodness, that's crazy. I know. It's so extreme
now the
everywhere.
next problem is the guys that were dry up there's a stalled cold front, and it's a boundary all the way across the United States, and it's like kind of dumping rain, training rain on Virginia, West Virginia, the Appalachia, the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, and they're supposed to get some places over 10 inches.
Oh my goodness, you guys, be safe.
We need some more rain. It's dry here, and hopefully it dips a little down here, but we never want 5-10 inches at once.
It's too much at once, and
it does nothing but flood and destroy everything. So, but today we are going to be finishing this big mulch job that we did.
Yeah, so there's a couple plants that we were watching that didn't transplant well, and that's normal. You really have to look at like losing probably about 10% of your plantings. So we may possibly lose more over the next year. Hopefully not, but it was tough soil. I mean, we amended it a whole lot, but it's tough soil.
And now we think it might be holding water.
Yeah. So it's like really hard to judge this because like the top of the plants will be dry because we plant, up out of the ground, of course. You don't want to smother roots and the bottoms of the plants.
The crowns.
The crowns, yeah. And then if you stick your finger down though, it's still like moist. Sometimes even like we pulled out a tree of theirs that died and it was like
dripping wet.
Yeah.
So no matter how much you amend the soil, I mean,
that didn't look like it was amended though.
No, for a 1 inch pot, for a 1 gallon pot, we'll dig like a bigger circle, mix in the previous soil, the soil that's there, with some compost and stuff that we have. But no matter what, if all the surrounding soil around it is not letting water drain out, and the water, it's going to go to the place that's more easily to go to that we dug up. So we're just watching it. We have not watered these plants in like 5-6 days now. They've had off. You guys seen we got rained on when we finished up the other day.
Yeah. So we'll just check them again today, and then we're gonna replace some, and then just keep an eye basically and see. And then that is something that people say, like, do you amend the soil? Do you not amend the soil? We're strong believers of amending the soil.
If we didn't amend that soil, it would have been a disaster.
I think so too. And then we're also strong believers of breaking up the roots a little bit as you're planting them. So if you guys notice, like before we plant a plant into the ground, just mess up those roots. We sometimes butterfly it like down at the bottom, like one way, I guess an X. We exit down at the bottom, and then this way it like breaks up the roots, and then the roots will then
spread through the soil.
So I mean, I did see roots growing as I was putting them into, because remember, we transplanted them from smaller pots into bigger pots because we knew what soil we were going to be dealing with, and I saw roots growing already. So hopefully that just continued to happen, and I think it did when you start seeing like flowers open. Yeah,
and more flowers form. Things are good. So we'll check it out again after all that rain. We know that we're replacing a couple. We'll show you what we're replacing them with, and if you guys don't want to go back and watch each section of the video, right after this video, I'm going to do a time lapse of the whole job.
Of the whole thing.
It'll probably only be like a 4 or 5 minute video, so I'll throw that up right after this one, probably tomorrow.
So thanks for watching. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We're gonna go over to the job now.
Let's go. Guys, we are back on this job, and we're gonna finish today. I'm not sure that I showed you all the plants, but after we get done, I'll do a quick walkthrough. We're replacing a penstemon back there with a black-eyed Susan. replacing these celosia with these two giant mums we had. And then we're putting some sage right here and where this snapdragon is. And then we're gonna move that penstemon somewhere else. I'll have to figure out where, because I'm gonna match this side over here. And then we're just gonna finish the tree rings.
Echinacea looks good.
Yeah. It's supposed to get rain. This verbena probably needs to be watered again because that's shallow. Oh, they came and marked some wires here. So we have to finish this tree ring, and then I have to weed eat around them and do all those tree rings. And then we'll be done this job. So let me go dig these holes. See what we're doing. We have 5 more rings back there. There were like 10 of them. I'll get you a whole walkthrough when we're done. We'll be done this job in about 20 minutes. Remember, the edges of the grass haven't been edged because we don't mow this, but we edged them before we mulched. But we got all these rings done. Not bad. All this done. So as you see, we're finished this whole job, guys. So everybody was asking about the different types of plants that we planted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to tell everybody, look, I'm finding rocks everywhere.
Yeah,
That's
I see
what
that.
I've been doing today. So this is an ice plant. We have lavender. We have Shasta daisy. We have a Rudbeckia, which is black eye Susan, but this one is like a different variety of black eye Susan. This is a stone crop. I forget what kind. Then we have some African daisies, which these are annuals. So these were just put in as like fillers for right now. This is yarrow, Achillea, which will get bigger. Then we have, this is another stone crop. This is called Autumn Fire Sedum, which this is what we have in our bed in the front, and it gets really big. It's really pretty. These flower will turn pink like this, see?
Yep.
So, and then we have some of the Argyranthemum back there to like kind of fill in this summer before, you know, the sage really takes over. We have some more Rudbeckia. We have a Russian sage. We have some cosmos just as filler plants too, because then we have a blue rug juniper, which that can spread like 6 feet. So eventually that will take over, hopefully. Then we have some of the torch lilies. Obviously they're done for this summer, but they're putting on growth, which is nice.
And they'll grow really big.
These are almost like a moss rose, but they're actually called something else. I'm having a purslane. So this is like a moss rose. It's like a purslane, but it's called Big Bloom purslane. So,
and the flowers open up in the morning.
Yeah, so, and yeah, it's very similar to a moss rose or an ice plant, but this is considered an annual, I think. I mean, sometimes it can be actually considered invasive, but we have it in beds, and if it becomes invasive, no big deal. I don't think it will come back though. And then we have another blue rug juniper. Then we have a beard tongue. Then we popped out the other beard tongue because one of them wasn't doing well, and we replaced it with a Rudbeckia. Then we have another stone crop and echinacea. So we have 2 different echinaceas in this landscape. We have the Trace Amigos and then the Sombrero Lemon, and they get to both about 24 inches or so.
And they'll keep spreading.
And then they'll just spread, right? Dianthus, more sage. We actually decided to pop out something that didn't look so great and replace it with mums. Then we have some phlox, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this phlox does look a little yellow, but you're saying it might be too wet here.
Yeah, we'll watch that too.
So we're gonna watch it. But then we have another of the blue rug juniper that will eventually take over. This is just an annual. It's a verbena. Red verbena.
And hopefully that spreads.
Yeah, then we have a rosemary. Rosemary can get really big, so we'll see what they want to do with that.
And then we have a couple of zinnias over there, and some more around the side we have.
Yeah, now that is a Mexican sunflower, so that's also an annual and will not come back, but hopefully it gets big and beautiful.
And it's pretty much the same on this side. Everything is repeated on this side.
Yeah. And then around the other side, like I said, we have some more of the echinacea. So
nice.
So all in total, like about 120 something plants, I think.
And 50 yards of mulch.
Yeah, pretty though, right? Oh, and one of the beard tongues that we popped out that still was looking okay, we just replaced in the back there.
Behind the window. I mean, in front of the window. And it had roots already growing into the other soil we mixed. So, okay, off to mowing our big property. Water on anymore at the house because we got a lot more rain than they did, I think.
Yeah, I'm still pretty wet. My shirt's wet and my hat. Man, good thing I had this hat on. It's like soaking wet. So my hair would have been dripping.
Well, the benefit to not overloading our mowing schedule is that we can put it to tomorrow, go there, finish that, and then mow more.
Yeah, so that is actually a good thing to talk about. And I know that we've talked about this before, but a lot of you guys are newer. You know, maybe you didn't catch that video because of the way that we do things. This is a daily vlog.
Yeah, we don't just say, hey, how to get great clients.
Yeah. So, we have always said the number one key is communication. As long as you are communicating with your clients, we have really found that over the past 11 years, they're fairly flexible.
Yeah.
It's, you know, when you don't communicate what's going on, that's when they just don't know what's going on. And they're like thinking like, well, what's the next step? Are they going to come? Are they showing up? Are they not coming? Are they running with my money? You know, like, not that we would do that, of course.
No, but... and I don't really care if you're a client for 10, 12 years. We still require a deposit for any jobs, and anybody doing business, you should require a deposit to do the job. I mean, there are people out there that do things without a deposit, but you're putting your neck on the line for them clients. I mean, even if it's a 12-year-old client, they could turn around and not pay you or not want to go with the job.
And to be honest with you,
not, but
I don't want to put out, you know, sometimes, like, we've had projects sometimes where it's like 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 grand in materials. And when you're getting to that point, you don't want to put that money out of your account and then wait to get paid for that job. So
yeah, that mulch job,
again, that's always communication too. You know, before we even quote a project, we are very open with the client. We tell them that we are only husband and wife team. We
can only do so much. It's so much at a time, and we have mowing that has to get done first, so your project might get stretched out weeks.
Yeah.
This mulch job, now from the start of the mulch, when we started laying the first pile of mulch on that property, it took us, what did we figure?
Not even 3 weeks, like a little less than 2, or I mean a little less than 3 weeks. So
and
like
for everything, spading beds, everything, spading beds, everything, it took us 5 weeks. We prepped most of the beds beforehand because you don't want to put mulch on there and then be drawn out for 5 weeks. So.
Well, not even full 5 weeks. So it was almost 4. It was like 4 weeks and like 3 days.
Now the total hours on the project, total man hours all together with me and Rachel's counted together, was 44.5 hours.
Because of the way we work. And again, the entire time we were very communicative with the client, telling the client when we'd be back, when we have to go mow today, we'll be there. Don't worry about watering, you know, making sure that you're not, because if you plant a whole bunch of flowers and you just leave and you don't tell the client what's going on, they might never water them, they might overwater them. Exactly. So, you know, just make sure constantly, just update them, and then you will have less issues. I mean, these 3 big mulch jobs we got all came from the one job we did. They seen us working. They seen how we work. Yeah. Even new quotes, if we go out to do a quote for a landscaping project, we tell them now it's like September. Yeah. We're that far out. This job that we just finished today, she actually was waiting well over a month to even start the project. So you know, so that is, and we do, because we've been so busy these past few summers, we have actually taken a deposit to get the project on the schedule. Yeah, third. Now Rachel does a third to get it on the schedule, and then a third once we step on the job and put a shovel in the ground, and then the remaining third. We used to do half deposit before. Yeah, but you know, now because we've been so busy and we see that clients want to get on the schedule, but we also don't want to say, okay, well, we'll get you on the schedule, but we're going to hold off on getting your half deposit. And then something happened and they say, well, you know, I decided to just do it myself. So this way we get the 1/3 they're locked in, they're on the schedule. Now, if somebody came to us, of course, before the project started and said
they didn't want to do it, we would give them a deposit.
We had an issue and something happened, then of course we would not be like that. But we've never had that situation, and at least we know what the next project is.
And do a good detailed job. Edges on beds matter, the flow of the edges on the bed. I know it's hard work, I know it's a lot of extra work, but it makes a huge difference.
It does.
Another thing is you could make it easier, use bed edgers, people say, but most of the time, and I'll tell you straight up, bed edgers do not look as good as I put an edge on a bed.
Well,
I'm sorry, it takes me longer, but I've seen bed edgers done. It's sloppy. It throws dirt everywhere. Maybe if you go and hit it with a weed eater afterwards, but and then we have boulders. You've seen all the boulders in this rock.
So I mean, and it just, again, you're charging for what
labor.
you're doing. So you just have to, we've been doing this for so long that we know how many hours it takes us to spade a bed. We know how many hours it's going to take us to clean up. We know how many hours it's going to take us to install yard of mulch. So our prices are like spot on at this point, and we do know that it's a lot of learning at first and just trying to do that. But you know, if you have to do it with like charging hourly and just let the client know because you're newer, you know, this is something like, well, I'd like to break it up with. Maybe
they pay for the mulch. Maybe they get the mulch delivered, and then
or
you do
no, because you do really want to get that little. I mean, you know, there is also profit in getting the mulch and getting it delivered also. So if you're a landscaper, that gets a percentage off. So I wouldn't suggest having them get it, but maybe, I don't know. There's just ways that you can.
Well, you charge them for the cost of the mulch itself, and then you add an hourly rate to do it.
Right. To do like the cleanup and.
And when I mean an hourly rate, guys, don't be charging. Oh, okay, the client paid for all the mulch. I'm going to charge them $50 an hour to do these beds, because. No, you need to be a lot more. Plumbers, electricians, all them. You go to an auto mechanic, they're up $80, $90, $100 an hour, $120, $130 an hour. Your labor is just as hard as their labor.
Yeah.
I've been an electrician. I was an electrician for 2 years. I built cabinets for 10 years.
Yeah.
That labor to me is cakewalk compared to landscaping and lawn care. And I'm sorry to upset anybody. I've pulled wires through attics on a 100-degree day.
Yeah.
This, by far, is one of the hardest labor-intensive jobs there is. Mowing and doing landscaping and all that stuff out here in the sun all day long. I don't know of any other job that's as hard or more physical than this, besides being in the military.
So it is pretty physical, but that's why
charge
we
your worth. Charge your worth,
what
guys.
you're worth.
You have to make a living, and you have to have fun in life, just like everybody else does.
And then I also, real quick, I know another thing that people always ask, why do you guys not put landscape fabric down underneath your mulch beds? Okay, so again, we have been doing this for 11 years, and really 99% of your weeds are airborne anyway. So if you take the time to do the prep and pull the weeds out, yes, you're always going to have like that kalinga, sedge,
anything with rhizomes.
Come up.
Hit it with a weed killer and you'll be fine. It'll kill any of that, but proper bed prep is key. And then afterwards, after you're done the mulch, spray a pre-emergent on it. Put
it's better to do that.
Then
put
the
preen
fabric
or a pre-emergent, like Carl said, on top of the mulch, because again, seeds are airborne. Weeds are airborne. The seeds fly from birds. They fly from the wind.
I know we use fabric in our garden when I'm planting my plants, but that's because we don't have time to properly dig up this field and get rid of every weed that's in there. So we put the plastic down, and it keeps the ground warmer for tomato and vegetable.
In past years, we've actually just put enough mulch on top to kind of maintain the weeds, but
it's easier.
You guys see, we're doing so much. You know, we do have a lot going on, but summer is our time to work and to get our jobs in and our projects and our homesteading in. So we just need to do as much as possible as we can during the good growing months, right?
So hopefully you guys learned some from that video. Hopefully you
Yeah.
guys liked that video. Remember, watch the next one for the complete time lapse of that project.
Oh yeah.
If
we
you guys want to
appreciate
see start from finish, I know when it's pieced out, it's a little harder to see the whole context of it.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate it, guys. So thanks for watching.
it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And be happy.
or at least try.
Have a good
Have a good
night.
night.